Well, it is Friday, and I am so happy to be at the end of my workday and sitting in my office and just taking a few minutes here to just stop. Um, I've been running here and there today and just doing a lot of things and talking to a lot of people and just feel a little bit overstimulated in some ways. And so I'm happy to just take a few minutes before my workday ends and my week with my children begins. I'm about to go get them from school, so I'm going to sit here with this candle that smells so nice, and I'm going to be here next to this message that I always love to see, and just sit in my office for a few minutes and just kind of take a break. Um, what is on my mind today is I had this really interesting, or at least to me, interesting exchange on Facebook with a friend of mine who's an artist. His name is Brent Housingay, and he does a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of it with spray paint and kind of reusing old materials and just some really great things. One of the things he's been doing lately, though, are these really interesting and intricate white, like kind of cardstock, and I might be saying the wrong things, but using an X-Acto knife to kind of carve out these beautiful pieces of art. And lately, the last few days, he's been doing, or maybe last week or so, he's been posting on social media these hearts that he's doing with messages inside of them that are, loving, hopeful messages that I guess are kind of timed for Valentine's Day that's coming up. And we had this interesting exchange where people were kind of commenting on that. And I, in the midst of this, I added a couple of like kind of cheeky, snarky messages he could do in hearts, like for people who are feeling a little bit snarky about the Valentine's Day that's coming up. And the messages I gave him were, instead of things like, be mine, or yours truly, or love you, or whatever, it would be like, no thank you, stenciled in the heart. And then another one I suggested kind of cheekily was like, it's not me, it's you, haha. And so lo and behold, a couple hours later, he stenciled out this beautiful heart that said, no thank you, in response to what I'd suggested. And of course, immediately I was like, I'll buy that from you. Thank you, I love it, it's so fun. And then last night, I came home, and I do all my best thinking either in the shower or when I'm running, or walking. And so when I was in the shower last night, I was thinking about this piece of art that I had said I was going to buy from Brent. And I said, as fun as that whole exchange was, and sometimes I love to come up with cheeky or snarky messages just to be silly, like I don't know actually that I want to have a piece of art either in my home or in my office that has a heart that says no thank you, because that's not where I am right now. I've said in my last few videos, again, I did a kind of a meditation on opening your heart, and I have worked really hard on kind of reopening my heart and kind of embracing the concept of vulnerability. And again, it's not because I'm putting myself out there for a romantic partner. It's really it's something that I'm doing for myself, because it's a decision on who I want to be moving forward. I want to be someone who has an open heart to the world around me, to my friends, my clients, myself. I want to love and embrace myself. So my tendency to kind of draw in, I've been working hard on opening myself up and being vulnerable. And that's a process, of course, I do differently with my clients. And so I went to bed last night, like really thinking about this. And this morning, one of the first things I did was I sent Brent a message and said, hey, never mind on that. How about instead I ask you to do a heart for me that says, instead of that snarky message, that just says open heart. And I'll buy that from you. And, just like he is, he immediately sat down and stenciled out this beautiful heart that says open heart. And I will post a picture of that on my Day 1 2020 Instagram if you want to see it. Brent Housingay, amazing artist. And so I'm really happy with that decision. I feel like that was as small as it is, as inconsequential perhaps. Every little step that I can take in my life to really just remind myself of the path that I've committed to is meaningful. And so that's what's on my mind today, and I'm really excited to get my piece of art with the message that I really want to send myself and kind of the people who might happen to see it. So that's what's on my mind. And as I was driving around today, again, kind of between obligations, I was listening to music like I always do, and the song came on that I have loved for the last few years. Music has been pretty much my constant companion as I've worked through the stuff in my life the last few years. It's always been my constant companion, really, but there have been kind of some songs that are specific to the last few years that have kind of helped me a lot. And the one that came on today, I thought, this is perfect for talking about this, and it is by what I would like to call a female folk supergroup. And no, it's not the Highwomen, because I might have to choose them another time. But this is I'm With Her. And it's three women who are all powerful dynamos in their own right, who've come together to do some really beautiful music. They've put out a couple of albums. And there's a song that they do called Little Lies that is really just nothing but a poem to vulnerability and trying to navigate that and be real and authentic and vulnerable in a relationship. And I just love that song. And so it's such an easy choice for me to add that to my playlists, my Spotify playlist and my YouTube playlist. So I'm going to do that. And as far as any mind body skill today, honestly, after a day like this, like I said, I'm about to transition to go pick up my children. So I am going to just sit and breathe for a few minutes. And I encourage you to turn the computer to a different side or your phone and just listen, or even just close your eyes. If anybody happens to watch this, again, these videos are not necessarily a place for me to, that I expect people to watch, but I always say in my videos, if anybody happens to watch this, you are welcome to do it with me. I'm only going to do like a sampling of it because when I do these videos, I don't actually really meditate fully, but I want to just give myself the gift right now of what I'm going to do for myself later. So I'm in my office, so I'm in a chair, so I'm going to plant my feet really firmly on the ground here. I'm going to rest my hands gently in my lap, and I'm just going to start with my breath. That's all I'm going to do today is just do a real intentional breathing exercise. And I'm going to do this exercise as if I'm doing this with someone in my office right now. So I encourage you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, or you can just rest your gaze somewhere in front of you. And actually for this exercise, because the breath is the center of all of these, but right now the absolute center of this exercise, I'm going to take my hands one on top of the other and just put them right above my belly button. And I'm just going to allow them to rest there, one on top of the other, as I breathe. I sit up as straight as I can. I'm going to open my shoulders. And I'm just going to breathe deeply, as best I can. Just breathe so that I use as much of my lungs as I can. And I breathe as deeply as I can. In through my nose, out through my mouth. If, like me, you've been running around a lot before you sit down, your breath is going to be up here. The goal for this is to bring your breath down here. That anxiety, that tension makes our breathing shallow. We want to breathe such that our breathing is deeper. We're using all of our lung capacity as much as we can right in this moment. And I'm just going to give myself the gift of breath. Intentional breath. If you're breathing here in this exercise and you're somewhere alone, I encourage you to exhale as loudly as you want. Let that tension go. As you rest your hands against your core, just feel them expand. Feel them contract. If you feel like you're still breathing shallow, just do yourself the favor of taking your hands from your chest and moving it very intentionally to your core to help yourself focus on expanding your hands and contracting them with every breath. And just sit like this for a minute, 2 minutes. A good count for a moment like this where you're kind of in the middle of your day would be 4. 4 counts on the inhale, 4 counts on the exhale. So inhale 4, exhale 4. That's the gift I'm going to give myself right here in this moment, which for me is going to be helpful as I transition from my workday to the time I'm going to spend with my children. It doesn't mean that I don't have worries, or that I don't have thoughts, but just for this one brief time, I'm going to let those sit off to the side for a moment while I do this for myself. And I'm also going to listen to some music. Right now, I might go ahead and take a couple of minutes to play that song one more time as I add it to my playlists. And I'm going to post the picture on the Instagram Day 1 2020 page of the lovely open heart that I'm going to gift myself thanks to Brent.